Hi guys, Darth Deuces here with the Marvel Legends action figure review. Got a really cool set to review. It is the Marvel Studios, the first 10 years Hulk and Hulkbuster set. So the Marvel Legends is doing and Hasbro is doing a sub-series of Marvel Legends for Marvel Studios for the 10th anniversary of the MCU. And they are releasing and re-releasing a bunch of figures that either should have been made or figures that were made and have been improved. And so they have released the Age of Ultron set with Hulk and the Hulkbuster, which is awesome. I never got an MCU Hulk besides the standard MCU Hulk. I have the Gladiator Bath, and I never built the Hulkbuster Bath, but it's been one of my most wanted build-a-figures. So I'm really happy that this set came out. So take a look at the packaging first. It's in this big box. All of the Marvel Studios, the first 10 years, packaging share this style of box packaging. It's like this black, and it has I think concept art from all the different movies all over it. And you got the figures fully displayed: Hulk, Hulkbuster, Avengers logo, Avengers Age of Ultron, Legend series. On the top, you've got a black sort of raised in relief, glossy Marvel Studios first 10 years. On the side, you got some color images of concept art from Age of Ultron, I believe. And then Avengers Age of Ultron, this is just a brief bio of what's going on. When Bruce Banner becomes the smashing, crashing Hulk, Tony Stark calls in the Hulkbuster armor and challenges Banner's alter ego to save the city from total rage-fueled destruction. And in multiple languages, this is number 7. Got a movie poster of Age of Ultron. You got a bio for Hulk here. It says, despite efforts to stay grounded, Bruce Banner falls captive to the mind games of Scarlet Witch and loses his temper, swirling into a blind, catastrophic rage. And then the Hulkbuster here is having anticipated the need for backup in situations involving the Gamma Green Goliath. Tony Stark creates Veronica, a Titan-sized suit of armor known more commonly as the Hulkbuster. So pretty cool. There's some other random stuff here. Nothing really on the bottom. So I'm going to crack this set open, and we will take a closer look at the figures inside. Alright, I got the set out of the packaging, and this is a really, really awesome set. I really do love this set, mainly for the Hulkbuster. Obviously, like I said, it's a bath I've really wanted, and I was really stoked when they said they were going to re-release it. But I'm really pleased with it overall. It's really quite a good set. We're going to talk about Hulk first, because he is probably the least interesting of the set. Not to say that it's a bad figure. Hulk himself's still pretty cool. I don't have, like I said, the only Hulk figure that I have in the Marvel Legends scale is the Gladiator Bath, so I don't have a more standard looking Hulk. So I'm happy to have this, especially to display fighting the Hulkbuster. And this is a repaint and slight retool. He's a repaint with a new head sculpt. I can't compare them, obviously, because like I said, I don't have the other ones. But this one's very scene specific. They based this version of Hulk specifically on the scene where he's fighting the Hulkbuster, which is a good thing, obviously, because he comes with the Hulkbuster. So though it has him with Scarlet Witch's abilities messing with him. So looking at head sculpt's really cool. It has him a lot more yelling and whatnot, so it has him a lot more animated looking and expressive in that sense. Really in a rage, I think it's really cool. The paint in the eyes is alright. The red looks good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And you got the eyebrows painted pretty well. And you got the shading around the eyes, which looks good. The hair is a nice jet black. I think that looks pretty cool. Teeth are painted pretty well. In the mouth, I don't have any real issues with that. And over the figure, he does have the green veins painted on the face. He has the green veins painted there. And when he was being controlled, the veins were a lot more prominent on him. You can see them kind of going down his neck, which is really cool. They painted chest hair on his chest, I think is really cool as well. You got those veins. The veins on his arms are actually sculpted, and they painted the veins, so that's really cool. And the rest of the figure obviously is just Hulk, so, you know, the proportions are pretty good for the most part, I think. You know, looks like the Hulk. Muscle definitions look all good and all that. Pants there look pretty cool. He's got the black paint apps there. One thing that is a little annoying, I suppose, is that the hinge joints on the hips aren't painted the same color as the pants. They don't bother me too much because they're kind of black and these are black, so they kind of blend, so they don't look completely out of place, but it's still kind of annoying because the other figures did paint these hinges. And the paint stops for the pants around the calves there, and it's pretty cleanly done. And you got the feet there. There's not a lot to talk about, but looks pretty good. 2 peg holes at the bottom of the feet. And that's pretty much all there is to talk about. I mean, Hulk's not exactly the most insanely detailed or crazy design, but he still looks really cool in the head sculpt. The new head sculpt is definitely a nice added touch to make this figure a bit more different from the other releases. So that is cool. In terms of articulation, he has only a ball joint in the head, not a hinge. So his head articulation, you can rotate, you can get a bit of pivot, but you can't really get much up and down movement, which is unfortunate. It's a little annoying when trying to get some poses, so that's a bit unfortunate. Ball hinges, the shoulders move really well, and move all the way up, and you rotate them and whatnot. Swivels at the bicep, double hinged elbows. I really wish we'd see more of this on bigger, bulkier figures. We really need to start seeing these more on BAFs. And I don't think it looks terrible, so I like that a lot. Hinges at the wrist move good. A ball joint at the torso, so you can crunch forward a decent amount, crunch back a decent amount, pivot a bit, and rotate. He has the Y joints in the hips, so I don't like that. So if you want to kick them out, you have to actually move them forward, pull them, push them like that, and then rotate the bicep or the thigh joint. I don't like this kind of joint. It's not the end of the world, and these ones are executed decently enough, but I still don't like them. But yeah, so swivel at the thigh, double hinges at the knees, which move quite well, and a hinge at the ankle with a rocker. So he has good articulation. With some of it is a bit dated, like the neck articulation and the hip articulation is a bit dated, but you can still get this guy in a lot of really cool poses. So this Hulk figure is pretty solid, if you don't already have a Hulk figure at any rate. Now let's take a look at the Hulkbuster. Alright, and here we have the Hulkbuster, which is a super, super cool figure. I'm really loving this Hulkbuster figure. He's going to quickly become, I think, one of my favorite Marvel Legends figures. It's just so cool, and just how big it is, how well detailed it is really cool. This figure was actually released quite a few other times. The first release, which I think was the States release, was quite a bright red and a bright sort of yellowish gold, which honestly to me looked kind of too plasticky and didn't look right to me. I didn't really like that look too much. It didn't look terrible by any means, but eh. Then there's an international release, which was a lot darker colors, which looked a lot better in my opinion. Perhaps even more accurate than maybe even this one's color. This one kind of took a mix of the two, being not super dark, but also not very light red either. The gold looks really nice, and the really cool thing about this one, which I think makes it the best painted one out of all of them, is they took the time to paint in a lot more of the random mechanical details, which I'll point out as we go through. But yeah, heavy figure. He's got a lot of heft to him. He's not very hollow. Here is the head sculpt though. Head sculpt's awesome. It's also impressive how much articulation it gets, but I'll go into that later. But it just looks really good. You've got this silver paint detailing and then the black paint apps look really good. You've got the painted in eyes and then the black around the eyes. It looks great. The gold plating looks really awesome. Painted really well. Absolutely love that. Like I said, some of the things like the neck piece wasn't painted gray before or silver before on the original. It was just a red. They painted that silver. You got these gold detailings. Look all really quite nice. Again, right here we got some more silver paint apps that weren't on the original figure, which is super cool. Arc reactor looks really good. You've got like a bluish white in there for the arc reactor, then silver around it, which looks awesome. Again, more great fine details. Shoulder plates look really good. A little bit of paint error, not too bad. Got the big forearm guards here, look awesome. And again, these have some silver paint apps that other releases did not have, so that's really cool. And you got these painted in as well, which is awesome. Hands look really cool. Got the big like 3-finger thing going on, which is awesome. The legs here look really great as well. Again, you get more of that nice subtle paint detailing that they've added in. Got the silvers on the back here. Again, you got this stuff painted in that wasn't painted in before, and you've got these painted in and sort of the arc effects painted on them, which I think is super cool. You even got some detailing for the joint on the back of the joints, like pistons and whatnot, which is super cool. They did skip out on some of the paint here. I didn't honestly wouldn't expect them to paint at all. It is still Hasbro we're talking about. You got stuff like this painted in, some more arc reactor effects painted in, which is super cool. And the silver on the boots look nice. And just all those extra paint apps really help to elevate this figure and make it look so much better. Now in terms of articulation, this figure is actually pretty well articulated considering his size and overall bulkiness, though there are some compromises obviously. He does have a ball joint in the head so you can move up and down, pivot a lot actually, and rotate. And it rotates all the way around because the head can move up so far. There's also a hinge so you can move it up even more, move it down even more. Ball hinge at the shoulders, which lets you rotate in sort of a ratcheting kind of sense. And they hinge out pretty damn good for having these big shoulder plates. They're moved out enough so it allows for movement. A swivel cut at the bicep, only a single hinge in the elbow, which also rotates. Unfortunately, you're not going to get a lot of bend in that. It's just how it is. There are some compromises for the sculpt. You got a ball hinge at the wrist. You can swivel it a little bit. It is hindered by this, and you can hinge it forward, so that's cool. A ball joint at the torso, which crunches forward quite a damn bit. Crunches back a lot. And the only thing is it doesn't really rotate a whole lot. For some reason, I don't know how that works, but when you want to try to rotate, it just kind of sort of bounces back, which is kind of weird, but it's not a huge deal. Ball joint at the hips, so you can kick them out quite a ways, which is good. Move them out of the way. Spread's all right. A swivel at the thigh, yep, swivel at the thigh. Double hinges at the knees, which don't really bend past 90 degrees, but it's still really cool they incorporated the double hinge, because without it, you probably wouldn't have gotten 90 degrees. And then hinges at the ankles, they move up actually quite a bit, down a bit. A decent pivot, they got a nice cut in the hip in there to allow that to pivot more, and it rotates too, so that is some pretty good articulation, I think, for this figure. Like I said, he's hefty because he is a big boy, and we will do some comparisons. First, I actually want to compare the Hulk figure, though. So here I have the Hulk figure. I'm just going to compare him quickly with some other figures I have. So, I guess first of all here, just on sort of a standard 6-inch figure, here's a Multiple Man, recent Multiple Man on the Bucky cap. Hulk towers over your average 6-inch figure. So I think that's really cool. I think that's a decent scale. Hulk might need to be, maybe supposed to be just slightly bigger, but I think that's a pretty good scale. Here he is with another comic figure, which uses the Hyperion body mold. On Gladiator, again, Hulk is bigger, so I think that's good. Next up with another MCU figure, he is with a standard Iron Man. So again, I think that's pretty decent scale. Here he is with the recent Walmart exclusive Thanos BAF. He's actually bigger than, well, not the BAF, it's the re-release of the BAF single figure now. But yeah, he's pretty much your standard BAF size at this point, is Hulk. Here he is with the Gladiator Hulk. Put them side by side, try to get them on equal footing. This Hulk is definitely bigger in terms of like girth and muscle size. This one's a bit bigger. I also want to say he's just ever so slightly taller. I do like this mold better for, even though they only have single joint elbows, I do like this mold better for Hulk, but this one's still pretty good. Just for fun, here he is next to Marvel Select Juggernaut. Juggernaut's bigger than the Hulk. That's just for fun, more or less, though Juggernaut is in the scale pretty well with Marvel Legends. And obviously here he is with the Hulkbuster, and the Hulkbuster is significantly bigger than Hulk. So I think that's really cool. Now taking Hulk out of the way, let's do some comparisons quick with the Hulkbuster with some of the figures I just showed. So again, here he is with the 6-inch figure on the Bucky cap. He's way bigger than this figure. Hyperion body mold real quick, again, much bigger. Here's with again MCU Iron Man. I don't have the Age of Ultron Iron Man, but yeah. I don't really know how the suit's supposed to work. I think the Hulkbuster is technically supposed to be a bit bigger than this, because his head's supposed to be like there, and then like you don't think his arms are even supposed to be in here. But yeah, I think it's still a decent scale. Nevertheless, doesn't bother me. Here's next to Thanos. I think it's hilarious the Hulkbuster is so much bigger than Thanos. Here he is next to the Gladiator Hulk Bath, just because this Hulk actually is standing up to this Bath a lot better, I think. Or a bit taller. And again, just for fun, here he is next to the big old Juggernaut. Juggernaut is the closest size to... These are actually so big, I don't really move these out of the way. Juggernaut's definitely the closest to meeting the height of the Hulkbuster. The Hulkbuster is still a bit taller. But that's pretty cool. So, with my final thoughts, I'll get the figures back in here. I think this is a really fantastic set for people who missed out on the Hulkbuster Bath. I think it's definitely the best of the Hulkbuster Baths. I think it's the best painted one, just the best done overall. It, I think, looks the best out of all the other ones from what I've seen. That being said, if you already have the Hulkbuster Bath, I don't think this set brings enough to warrant purchasing this one and getting rid of your old one. If you're happy with the one you have already, I wouldn't get rid of it. I'd keep it. This one, even though I think the paint apps on this one are much better, I'd still not so much better that it warrants getting this new one. But this is fantastic for people like me who missed out on the Hulkbuster, who don't have the money to shell out for a whole wave of figures, so we can catch up and pick up this awesome Bath for a bit more affordable price, and just to be able to catch up. That was a little while. That was a few years ago now. And we also get a Hulk to boot with a new head sculpt, so to go with the Hulkbuster. So again, like me, don't have an MCU Hulk outside of the Gladiator Hulk, so I'm happy to have this Hulk as well. Really solid set. Highly recommend it if you don't already have the figures. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you all in the next video.